What if the story of humanity, the tale of our very existence, is not what it seems? What if we are not the product of chance or divine will alone, but the creation of beings from another world, visitors from the stars who shaped our destiny? Welcome to a journey into the unknown, a voyage through the shadows of history where gods, aliens, and conspiracies collide. This is not just a story, it is a question that has haunted humanity for millennia. Are we alone, or are we the legacy of a cosmic plan? Tonight, we begin with the greatest mystery of all, the Anunnaki, the supposed extraterrestrial architects of humankind, and the chilling possibility that their influence still lingers, hidden by a global conspiracy. In ancient Mesopotamia, where the first cities rose from the dust of the Fertile Crescent, a remarkable tale was etched into clay tablets, known as the Epic of Atrahasis. This story, written thousands of years ago, speaks of gods who decided to create humans to bear the yoke of labor. These gods, the Anunnaki, were said to have descended from the heavens, bringing with them knowledge and power beyond human comprehension. According to the tablets, they molded humanity from the clay of the earth, mixing it with divine essence to create a workforce for their divine tasks. But what if these gods were not divine at all? What if they were advanced beings from a distant planet, a civilization so advanced that their technology seemed like magic to our ancestors? This is the heart of the ancient astronaut hypothesis, a theory popularized by Zecharia Sitchin, who claimed the Anunnaki came from a mysterious planet called Nibiru, arriving on Earth some 450,000 years ago. Let us dive deeper into this enigma. The Anunnaki, according to Sitchin's translations of Sumerian texts, were not ethereal spirits but physical beings, travelers from a world far beyond our solar system. Their planet, Nibiru, is said to follow an elliptical orbit, swinging close to Earth every 3,600 years. Why did they come? The story goes that Nibiru's atmosphere was decaying, and they needed vast quantities of it to repair their planet's environment. Gold, with its unique properties, was supposedly used to create a protective shield in their atmosphere, reflecting harmful radiation and stabilizing their world. Earth, rich in this precious metal, became their mining colony, and humans were engineered as a labor force to extract it. This is no mere myth. Proponents argue it is a forgotten truth, encoded in the stories of ancient Mesopotamia, where gods walked among men and bestowed the gifts of civilization. But here is where the mystery darkens, where the line between history and conspiracy blurs. If the Anunnaki were real, why do we not see their ships in our skies today? Why are there no ruins of their advanced technology scattered across the deserts of Iraq? Some believe the answer lies in a global cover-up, a conspiracy spanning millennia. Imagine this. The knowledge of the Anunnaki's presence was so profound, so world-shattering, that it was deliberately buried by those in power. Governments, secret societies, even ancient priesthoods may have worked to erase the truth, replacing it with myths and religions to control the masses. In the modern era, organizations like NASA are accused of hiding evidence of Nibiru, a planet some claim is still out there, lurking beyond the Kuiper Belt, its approach cloaked by official silence. Could it be that in 2025, as we speak, telescopes like the James Webb are capturing glimpses of this rogue world, only for the data to be classified to prevent global panic? The conspiracy grows even more intricate. Some theorists suggest that the Anunnaki's influence never truly left Earth. What if their descendants, or those they chose to rule in their stead, still walk among us? The idea of a royal bloodline stretches across history, from the divine kings of Mesopotamia to the elite families of today. Could the Illuminati, often whispered about in conspiracy circles, be the modern heirs of the Anunnaki's legacy? Are they guarding secrets of extraterrestrial technology, knowledge that could reshape our world but is kept hidden to maintain their power? These are not idle questions, they are echoes of a truth that may have been suppressed for thousands of years, a truth that challenges everything we believe about our origins. Let us consider the Epic of Atrahasis again. The text speaks of a great flood, a cataclysm that nearly wiped out humanity. In the story, the god Enki, a compassionate scientist among the Anunnaki, defied his brother Enlil's orders to let humans perish. Enki warned a man named Ziusudra, instructing him to build a boat to survive the deluge. This tale mirrors the biblical story of Noah. But what if it is more than a myth? What if the flood was a real event, perhaps triggered by the Anunnaki themselves, using advanced technology to reshape Earth's surface? Some speculate that this was no natural disaster but a deliberate act, a cleansing of a human population that had grown too independent, too aware of their creator's true nature. And yet, Enki's rebellion suggests a fracture among the Anunnaki, a division that could explain why they eventually left Earth, or why some chose to stay, hiding in the shadows. The conspiracy deepens when we look at modern parallels. In the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, governments around the world began investigating unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. Projects like Blue Book in the United States were officially tasked with studying these phenomena, but many believe they were fronts for a larger cover-up. Declassified documents hint at encounters with craft that defied known technology objects, moving at impossible speeds, vanishing without a trace. Could these be remnants of the Anunnaki's fleet? Or perhaps scouts from Nibiru, checking on their ancient experiment? The silence from official channels only fuels suspicion. In 2025, with advanced telescopes and space probes scouring the cosmos, why do we hear so little about anomalies that could point to extraterrestrial life? Is it because the truth is too dangerous, too disruptive to the order of our world? Now, let us explore the figure of Enki, the Anunnaki scientist who, according to the myths, crafted humanity. Described as wise and compassionate, Enki was said to have loved his creation, teaching humans the arts, agriculture, and laws that formed the backbone of civilization. But what if his compassion was more than divine benevolence? What if Enki saw humans not as slaves but as partners, perhaps even as equals? Some theorists propose that Enki's actions sparked a rebellion among the Anunnaki, a conflict that led to their departure. This idea introduces a chilling possibility. What if some Anunnaki remained on Earth, blending into human society, guiding it from behind the scenes? Ancient texts speak of kings with lifespans stretching thousands of years. Could these be Anunnaki hybrids, their DNA granting them longevity beyond human limits? The concept of a hybrid bloodline brings us to another layer of the conspiracy. Throughout history, from the pharaohs of Egypt to the emperors of China, rulers claimed divine ancestry. Were they merely boasting, or were they descendants of extraterrestrial beings? In modern times, conspiracy theorists point to powerful families, secret societies like the Freemasons, or even global institutions as carriers of this ancient lineage. The idea that a select few control the world, wielding knowledge from the stars, is a potent one. It suggests that the Anunnaki's influence persists, not in open rule but in subtle manipulation, guiding humanity toward an unknown purpose. Could the rapid advancements in technology, from artificial intelligence to genetic engineering, be the result of rediscovered Anunnaki knowledge, leaked or deliberately shared by those in the know? Let us pause to consider Nibiru itself. Described as a planet with a 3,600-year orbit, Nibiru is a cornerstone of the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Some astronomers, studying the orbits of objects in the Kuiper Belt, have suggested the existence of a massive undiscovered planet, often called Planet X. Could this be Nibiru? The scientific community remains skeptical, citing the lack of direct evidence. But conspiracy theorists argue that governments have known about Nibiru for decades, suppressing the truth to avoid chaos. In the 1970s, reports surfaced of a 10th planet detected by infrared telescopes, only for the findings to be quietly buried. In 2025, with space exploration more advanced than ever, why do we not hear more about these discoveries? Is it because Nibiru's approach would reveal the Anunnaki's return, an event that could upend our understanding of reality? The Anunnaki, whether gods or aliens, represent a mystery that challenges our place in the cosmos. Were they benevolent creators, ruthless overlords, or something else entirely? And if their legacy persists, hidden in the corridors of power or the depths of space, what does it mean for us? Are we the children of the Anunnaki, shaped by their hands and guided by their will? Or are we simply humans, reaching for answers in a universe that remains silent? The truth may be out there, waiting to be uncovered, but only if we dare to look. If you're intrigued by these mysteries and want to dive deeper with us, consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep and tapping that bell icon to stay updated on our cosmic explorations. Your curiosity fuels our journey. Let's uncover the stars together. The Anunnaki, those enigmatic figures from ancient Sumerian lore, stand at the center of one of history's most provocative puzzles. Were they gods, as the myths claim, or extraterrestrial visitors who engineered humanity itself? Delving into the clay tablets unearthed from the ruins of Mesopotamia, we find narratives that describe these beings not as abstract deities but as tangible entities with agendas, conflicts, and technologies that echo modern science fiction. The Epic of Atrahasis, a poem inscribed around 3,800 years ago, paints a vivid picture of a world where the gods grew weary of their own labors. They toiled endlessly, digging canals and mining the earth, until rebellion stirred among the lesser gods. To resolve this, the wise Enki proposed a radical solution: create a new being, a hybrid worker, to shoulder the burden. This creation story, far from poetic fancy, raises eyebrows when examined through the lens of genetics and archaeology. What if the Anunnaki were not divine creators but advanced aliens who tampered with early hominid DNA to fashion Homo sapiens as a slave species? Consider the details embedded in these ancient texts. The Anunnaki, meaning those who came from heaven to earth in Sumerian, were led by a triumvirate of powerful figures. Anu, the supreme ruler, resided on their distant homeworld, making only rare visits to oversee operations. His sons, Enki and Enlil, handled the earthly affairs, but their personalities clashed like tectonic plates. Enki, often depicted with water symbols representing life and knowledge, was the innovative scientist, the one who allegedly mixed the essence of a god with the blood of a primitive hominid, perhaps Homo erectus, or a similar ancestor to birth the first humans. This process, described as blending divine blood with clay, sounds eerily like genetic engineering. In the Atrahasis epic, Enki slays a god named Wi-Ela to extract his vital fluid, which is then used to animate the new beings. Could this vital fluid be a metaphor for DNA? Modern genetics reveals that human DNA contains vast stretches of non-coding sequences, often called junk DNA, which some researchers speculate could be remnants of external manipulation. What secrets might these sequences hold, waiting to be decoded in laboratories today? Enlil, on the other hand, emerges as a stern commander, pragmatic to the point of ruthlessness. He viewed humans as mere tools, expendable laborers for the Anunnaki's grand mining operations. The text suggests that the primary goal was extracting gold from Earth's depths, a resource vital for repairing Nibiru's atmosphere. Nibiru, the elusive planet said to orbit our sun in a elongated path every 3,600 years, faced environmental collapse, and gold's reflective properties were supposedly key to stabilizing it. Enlil's disapproval of Enki's compassion toward these new creations set the stage for epic conflicts. Imagine the tension: Enki, nurturing his engineered offspring, teaching them irrigation, writing, and the foundations of society, while Enlil saw their growing numbers as a threat, a noisy infestation that disrupted the divine order. This sibling rivalry mirrors human family dramas but on a cosmic scale, fueling speculation that the Anunnaki's internal divisions led to catastrophic events on Earth. As we probe deeper, the question arises: how did these beings arrive, and what evidence supports their extraterrestrial origins? Sumerian cylinder seals and reliefs depict the Anunnaki descending in what appear to be winged discs or fiery chariots, imagery that aligns with descriptions of spacecraft in later UFO accounts. The mining aspect adds another layer of intrigue. Archaeological sites in southern Africa, like the ancient gold mines near Johannesburg, date back tens of thousands of years, far predating known civilizations. Some alternative historians argue these were Anunnaki operations, with human workers toiling under alien supervision. The sheer scale, hundreds of miles of tunnels, suggests technology beyond stone tools. If true, why gold? Beyond its atmospheric uses, perhaps it powered their devices or fueled interstellar travel. This ties into modern conspiracies, whispers that global elites hoard gold, not for wealth, but for hidden technological purposes, echoing Anunnaki priorities. The creation process itself invites endless curiosity. In the myths, the goddess Ninhursag, Enki's consort, acts as the midwife, shaping the first humans in a house of Shimti, a term some translate as a laboratory or genetic facility. Trial and error marked the early attempts. Deformed prototypes emerged before a viable human was produced. This narrative parallels contemporary cloning debates, where initial experiments yield imperfect results. Fast forward to today, and technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 allow precise gene editing, raising eyebrows about whether we are rediscovering Anunnaki methods. Conspiracy theorists claim that biotech companies, funded by shadowy investors, are reverse engineering ancient DNA codes hidden in our genome. What if the 97% of human DNA labeled as junk is actually a blueprint left by our creators, containing instructions for advanced abilities like telepathy or extended lifespans? Unlocking it could explain phenomena like savant syndrome or unexplained genetic leaps in human evolution. Enlil's role in the Great Flood adds a darker twist to this tale. Displeased with humanity's proliferation and noise, he convinced the Council of Gods to unleash a deluge. The Atrahasis epic details how the gods regretted their creation, viewing humans as burdensome. Enki, ever the dissenter, secretly warned Ziusudra, a figure akin to Noah, to build an ark and preserve life. This act of defiance highlights the Anunnaki's human-like flaws: jealousy, regret, and mercy. But was the flood natural or engineered? Geological evidence points to massive flooding around 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, but some speculate advanced weapons caused it. Traces of vitrified sand, glass-like formations from extreme heat in sites like the Indus Valley's Mohenjo-Daro suggest nuclear events. Conspiracy circles buzz with claims that governments suppress radiation data from these ruins, fearing it would confirm ancient atomic wars among the Anunnaki factions. Anu, the distant patriarch, oversaw it all from Nibiru, his decisions carried out through his sons. Described as all-knowing and omnipotent, Anu rarely intervened directly, preferring to rule from afar. This absentee leadership style fuels theories that the Anunnaki were colonists, not conquerors, establishing Earth as a resource outpost. Their hierarchy, Anu at the top, followed by Enki and Enlil, mirrors modern corporate structures, with Earth as a subsidiary operation. What if their departure, around 4,000 years ago, was not voluntary but forced by internal strife or resource depletion? The texts hint at a final exodus, but some Anunnaki may have lingered, interbreeding with humans to create demigods like the biblical Nephilim. This hybrid theory explains elongated skulls found in Paracas, Peru, or the unusually tall skeletons in Native American mounds artifacts, often dismissed by mainstream archaeology, but cherished by alternative researchers as proof of alien ancestry. The genetic implications keep the mystery alive. Human evolution shows puzzling jumps. From Neanderthals to modern humans, we gained complex language, art, and agriculture seemingly overnight. The Sumerians themselves exploded onto the scene around 6,000 years ago, with fully formed cities, writing, and wheels advancements that defy gradual development. Were the Anunnaki the catalysts? Their teachings, as per the myths, included metallurgy, astronomy, and law codes that influenced Hammurabi's later edicts. Enki's symbol, the intertwined serpents, resembles the DNA double helix, a coincidence too striking to ignore. In 2025, as gene sequencing costs plummet, independent labs are re-examining ancient bones for anomalous DNA. What might they find? Perhaps markers matching unexplained sequences in our own code, suggesting we are not fully Earth-born. Enlil's pragmatism contrasted sharply with Enki's empathy, creating a dynamic that drove human history. While Enki fostered growth, Enlil imposed control, perhaps explaining the rise of authoritarian regimes in early civilizations. The Anunnaki's mining needs may have shaped global migration patterns, pushing humans to resource-rich areas like the Andes or Africa. Conspiracy enthusiasts link this to modern mining corporations, alleging they follow ancient Anunnaki maps, extracting not just gold but rare earth elements for secret tech projects. The Roswell incident of 1947, with its alleged crashed craft, is sometimes tied to Anunnaki remnants, suggesting their technology lingers in black site facilities. As we unravel these threads, the Anunnaki emerge not as monolithic gods, but as complex beings with motives we can only guess. Their creation of humanity, was it benevolence or exploitation? The Atrahasis epic ends with a pact. Humans would multiply, but face mortality to prevent overpopulation. This built-in obsolescence, our finite lifespans, might be a genetic safeguard, ensuring we remain subservient. Yet, Enki's gifts of knowledge hint at a path to transcendence. In exploring this, we touch on profound questions. Are we echoes of an alien experiment, or masters of our fate? The Anunnaki's legacy, whether myth or reality, invites us to question the stars and our place among them, forever teasing the boundary between the known and the unimaginable. Deep within the ancient epics of India, where gods clash in cosmic battles and heroes traverse realms beyond mortal reach, lies the enigma of the Vimanas, flying machines that soar through the skies like birds of divine fire, challenging everything we thought we knew about human ingenuity and the stars above. Picture this: colossal chariots crafted from gleaming metals, defying gravity with effortless grace, carrying warriors across vast distances in the blink of an eye. Are these mere poetic flourishes in sacred texts, or glimpses of a forgotten technology that once bridged earth and heaven? As we unravel the threads of the Ramayana and Mahabharata, these Vimanas emerge not just as vehicles of myth, but as portals to questions that stir the soul. Could ancient India have harbored secrets of flight long before the Wright brothers dreamed of wings? Let us begin with the Ramayana, that timeless saga of Prince Rama's quest to rescue his beloved Sita from the clutches of the demon king Ravana. Here, the Pushpaka Vimana takes center stage, a radiant aerial palace stolen from the god of wealth, Kubera, and wielded by Ravana as a symbol of his unchallenged power. Described as a chariot that resembles the sun, it gleams with immeasurable wealth, adorned in precious stones and gold, capable of ascending, descending, and hovering at will. Imagine Rama, victorious after slaying Ravana, boarding this wondrous craft. It rises into the atmosphere with a tremendous din, resembling a bright cloud drifting through the heavens, ferrying him back to his kingdom of Ayodhya in a single day. What fuels such a marvel? The texts hint at a propulsion system that allows it to glide effortlessly, covering vast distances in moments, even navigating through cosmic realms. One cannot help but wonder, is this a fanciful tale, or a veiled memory of an advanced aircraft, perhaps powered by something akin to anti-gravity or exotic energy sources? The Pushpaka's allure deepens with its almost magical properties. It expands to accommodate any number of passengers. If 100 souls board, there is always room for one more, as if the Vimana itself bends space to its will. Ravana uses it not just for travel but for abduction, swooping down like a predator from the clouds. Yet, after Rama's triumph, the Vimana serves a noble purpose, carrying the hero and his allies homeward. This duality, tool of tyranny or vessel of heroism, mirrors the Vimana's role throughout Indian lore. They are not static symbols. They pulse with life, responding to the commands of their masters. Could these descriptions stem from eyewitness accounts of real flying devices, passed down through generations, embellished yet rooted in truth? The Sanskrit word Vimana itself evolves intriguingly, from measuring out in the Vedas, denoting sacred spaces, to full-fledged aerial chariots in later epics, suggesting a progression from earthly temples to skybound wonders. Shifting our gaze to the Mahabharata, the Vimanas transform from elegant transporters into fearsome instruments of war, unleashing devastation that rivals modern Armageddon. In this epic of familial strife and divine intervention, aerial battles rage with Vimanas equipped with weapons of unimaginable power. Take the Sauba Vimana, wielded by the vengeful King Salva against Lord Krishna's city of Dwaraka. Crafted by the demon architect Maya Danava, this ironclad fortress in the sky appears and vanishes at will, multiplying into identical forms to confuse enemies. It rains down destruction from above, only to be shattered by Krishna's mace in a clash that scatters its fragments across the earth. Or consider the Gurkha's Vimana, hurling a single projectile charged with all the power of the universe, reducing entire cities to ashes in a blaze brighter than 10,000 suns. The narrative speaks of an incandescent column of smoke and fire, a gigantic messenger of death that leaves behind desolation, echoes of nuclear fallout. Perhaps, survivors reportedly suffer from hair and nails falling out, pottery breaking without cause, and birds turning white, symptoms eerily similar to radiation poisoning. These accounts provoke endless curiosity. How could ancient scribes conjure such vivid details without some basis in reality? The Mahabharata's Asura Maya possesses a Vimana 12 cubits wide, with 4 strong wheels, hinting at mechanical engineering far beyond Bronze Age capabilities. Weapons like Indra's dart, a shaft of light that consumes targets with precision, sound like laser beams or guided missiles. In one pursuit, Krishna fires an arrow that seeks out sound to strike an invisible Vimana acoustic homing technology. The epic brims with such innovations. Vimanas named after animals like the elephant-shaped Gaja Vimana or the ibis-inspired, suggesting diverse designs tailored for speed, stealth, or combat. One cannot dismiss these as pure fantasy. The specificity invites speculation. Were the authors drawing from lost knowledge, perhaps remnants of a pre-flood civilization that mastered flight? This leads us to the ancient astronaut hypothesis, a lens that views Vimanas not as metaphors for spiritual ascent, but as evidence of extraterrestrial visitors sharing technology with humanity. Proponents like Erich von Däniken argue that the gods of these epics, Indra, Krishna, Rama, were aliens piloting advanced spacecraft. The Pushpaka, with its sun-like glow and cloud-like appearance, mirrors UFO sightings, luminous orbs maneuvering impossibly. In the Samarangana Sutradhara, an 11th century treatise on architecture, Vimanas are detailed with mercury-filled fire chambers that heat to propel the craft a mercury vortex engine. Experiments in the 20th century attempted to recreate this, yielding intriguing results, though unverified. The Vaimanika Shastra, a 20th century text claiming ancient origins, provides blueprints for Vimanas, including the light bird-shaped and heavy temple-like varieties, powered by elements like mercury and ether. Skeptics deem it a hoax, yet its alignment with epic descriptions fuels debate. Could it channel forgotten wisdom? Ponder the broader implications. In the Rigveda, the earliest Vedic hymns, gods ride Ratha's chariots that traverse the skies metaphorically, yet paving the way for explicit Vimana tales in later works. Jain texts mention Vimanas as dwellings of enlightened beings, while Buddhist scriptures like the Vimanavathu use the term for inspirational texts, showing linguistic evolution. But the epic's technical flair, Vimanas with multi-story palaces, gates and towers, evokes floating cities, akin to the aerial abodes in the Mahabharata's Hiranyapura or Tripura. These sky-ranging metropolises, invincible to gods yet vulnerable to mortals like Arjuna, suggest advanced societies or off-world colonies. Arjuna's journey on Indra's chariot to heavenly Amaravati, witnessing crashed and operational flying cars, reads like a space odyssey. What if these Vimanas reflect real ancient aviation? Archaeological puzzles abound. The Nazca lines in Peru resemble runways, while Indian sites like Mohenjo-Daro show vitrified ruins, possibly from high-heat weapons. In 2025, as drones and hypersonic jets redefine flight, we circle back. Did ancient seers foresee our tech, or did they remember a golden age? The Vaimanika Shastra's ethical withholdings details omitted to prevent misuse hint at knowledge too dangerous for humanity. Perhaps Vimanas were powered by consciousness, aligning with yogic mastery over matter. Yet counterviews persist. Scholars see Vimanas as symbolic of divine power, bridges between heaven and earth, not literal machines. The Ramayana's poetic license amplifies heroism, while Mahabharata's wars allegorize moral struggles. No metallic remnants survive, no blueprints unearthed. But absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. Crop circles and modern UFOs, V-shaped formations, silent hovers, mirror, Vimana, feats. Could extraterrestrials have inspired these tales, seeding technology that faded with time? As night deepens, let these Vimanas lift your thoughts skyward. And hey, where are you listening from tonight? And what's the hour where you are? Drop it in the comments. Let's see how far these stories travel under the stars. Nestled deep in the emerald heart of the Brazilian Amazon, where the Xingu River carves through dense foliage, and ancient spirits seem to whisper from the canopy, the Kayapo people guard a legend that defies the boundaries of time and reality. The story of Bep Kororoti, a mysterious visitor who descended from the skies to reshape their world. This tale, passed down through generations of oral tradition among the Kayapo, a resilient indigenous group in the state of Pará, begins not with gods or demons, but with an otherworldly arrival that still sends shivers through the humid air. One fateful day, long before the encroachment of modern civilization, a deafening roar echoed from the Serra Puketoi mountain, a place already shrouded in fear and reverence. Strong winds whipped the trees, thunder cracked without rain, and a blinding light pierced the forest, heralding the emergence of a figure unlike any the Kayapo had ever seen. Bep Kororoti, as they named him, meaning warrior from the cosmos in their language, stepped forth, clad in a strange, gleaming suit that covered him from head to toe, white as fresh river foam and textured like woven armor, impervious to the jungle's thorns and insects. His helmet, with a single visor-like opening revealing one piercing eye, concealed his features, making him appear both human and utterly alien. In his hand, he carried a silver rod, a boop they called it, which emitted flashes of light and energy capable of stunning animals or felling trees without a touch. The villagers, peering from behind their thatched huts, recoiled in terror. Was this a spirit from the ancestors, a harbinger of doom, or something far stranger, a traveler from the stars who had chosen their remote village as his landing site? Initial attempts to confront him ended in chaos. Arrows bounced harmlessly off his suit, and those who drew too close were repelled by bursts from his rod, leaving them dazed but unharmed. Yet, fear gradually gave way to fascination, as Bep Kororoti lingered among them. Unlike a conqueror, he sought integration, removing his helmet to reveal a pale face with features that blended familiarity and eeriness, large eyes that seemed to hold the depth of the night sky. He communicated not through words at first, but gestures, demonstrating skills that transformed the Kayapo's daily struggles. He taught them efficient hunting techniques, using his rod as a model for crafting better spears and traps that mimicked its precision. Agriculture flourished under his guidance. He showed how to select seeds for resilient crops, irrigate fields during dry spells, and harness the river's flow without angering the spirits. Medicine became an art. He revealed plants for healing wounds, potions to ward off fevers, and rituals to balance the body's energies, knowledge that echoed advanced pharmacology, yet rooted in the jungle's bounty. Even architecture evolved. Homes grew sturdier, with elevated platforms to evade floods and woven roofs that withstood storms, designs that persist in Kayapo villages today. What truly captivates about Bep Kororoti is his personal immersion in the community. He took a wife from the tribe, fathering children who inherited his sharp intellect and unusual resilience. These offspring, according to elders, carried a star blood that made them leaders and healers, their descendants still revered in Kayapo lineages. But whispers of his origins persisted. He spoke of a distant home beyond the clouds, a place of endless light where beings like him traversed the void. Did he describe a spaceship or a celestial realm? The Kayapo's shamans, in trance states induced by sacred plants like ayahuasca, claimed visions of similar visitors, metallic birds descending from the heavens, linking Bep Kororoti to a broader cosmic narrative. This integration raises tantalizing questions. Why choose this isolated tribe? Was he a scout, an exile, or a benevolent teacher sent to uplift humanity's forgotten corners? As years passed, the harmony fractured. One day, Bep Kororoti erupted in unexplained rage, screaming in a tongue none understood, lashing out with his rod to keep the villagers at bay. He retreated to the mountain, donning his full suit once more, and in a spectacle of light and thunder, vanished skyward in a flash that scorched the earth. The Kayapo, mourning his loss yet honoring his legacy, immortalized him in rituals. Even now, in annual festivals, young men don suits woven from palm fibers, mimicking his armor with uncanny accuracy, complete with a helmet and a staff symbolizing the boop. These ceremonies, blending dance and storytelling, reenact his arrival and teachings, preserving a cultural memory that feels alive, almost expectant of his return. This legend, documented by ethnologists like João Américo Pérez in the mid-20th century, transcends folklore when viewed through the prism of ancient astronaut theories. Proponents argue Bep Kororoti was no shamanic spirit, as some anthropologists suggest, but an extraterrestrial explorer. His suit resembles a spacesuit, designed for environmental protection, white to reflect the Amazon's brutal sun, sealed against humidity and insects. The single eye could be a visor for enhanced vision, perhaps infrared to navigate the dense forest. The boop, emitting energy bursts, evokes a plasma weapon or stun device, non-lethal yet effective, aligning with reports of alien tech in modern encounters. His departure, a vertical ascent amid light and noise, mirrors UFO takeoffs, complete with scorched landing sites found in global sightings. Delving deeper, connections to broader mysteries emerge. The Amazon, vast and unexplored, harbors countless UFO reports, from glowing orbs over the canopy to structured craft witnessed by pilots and tribes alike. The 1996 Wandjina incident in Brazil, where locals claim to encounter extraterrestrial beings after a crash, echoes Bep Kororoti's pale, enigmatic form. Witnesses describe creatures with large eyes and oily skin. Fleeing into the jungle, could these be kin to the Kayapo's visitor? Further afield, the Nazca lines in nearby Peru, etched into the desert millennia ago, resemble runways or signals for aerial visitors, perhaps guiding beings like Bep Kororoti to Earth. Conspiracy theorists whisper of hidden bases beneath the rainforest, where ancient aliens established outposts, mining rare elements or conducting genetic experiments on indigenous peoples. The Kayapo's ayahuasca ceremonies add another layer of intrigue. This potent brew, inducing visions of serpentine entities and cosmic journeys, might unlock latent memories of extraterrestrial contact. Shamans report encounters with star beings who impart knowledge, much like Bep Kororoti's teachings. Is ayahuasca a bridge to other dimensions, or a chemical key activating alien-implanted wisdom in human DNA? Genetic studies of Amazon tribes reveal unique markers, resistant to diseases and adapted to extreme environments. Could these trace back to hybridizations with visitors like him? The legend's persistence, untouched by colonialism until recent decades, suggests a profound truth, guarded fiercely by the Kayapo against outsiders. Yet, skeptics offer grounded interpretations. Bep Kororoti as a metaphor for a powerful shaman or explorer, his suit a ritual garb, the boop a ceremonial staff. The story, they say, explains cultural innovations, attributing them to a heroic ancestor. But this dismisses the specificity, the suit's impermeability, the energy weapon, the skyward exit that defies simple symbolism. In 2025, as deforestation exposes ancient sites in the Amazon, archaeologists uncover megalithic structures and unexplained artifacts, fueling speculation. Satellite imagery reveals geometric patterns in the jungle, possible remnants of landing pads or observatories aligned with stars like Sirius. Linking to global enigmas, Bep Kororoti parallels figures like the Hopi Star People or African Dogon Nomo aquatic humanoids from the stars, teaching civilization. Could he be part of a network of extraterrestrial educators, seeding knowledge across continents? Conspiracy circles tie him to the Anunnaki, suggesting he was a rogue operative, exiled to Earth after cosmic wars. His madness might signal a recall signal, pulling him back to Nibiru. Modern parallels abound. Astronaut suits, designed for space's void, mirror his gear white for thermal control, visors for protection. NASA's collaborations with indigenous groups for survival tech hint at deeper inspirations. The Kayapo today, facing threats from mining and logging, invoke Bep Kororoti as a protector. Their festivals a call for cosmic aid. Elders speak of his promised return in times of peril, when the skies will light up once more. As drones map the Amazon's secrets and UFO disclosures mount, one wonders, is Bep Kororoti's legacy awakening? Satellite anomalies over Brazil, unexplained lights in the night sky, could these herald his kin? The jungle holds its breath, inviting us to ponder. What if the stars are watching, waiting to reclaim their envoy? In this verdant labyrinth, where vines conceal forgotten paths, Bep Kororoti's story endures, a beacon of mystery that draws the curious ever deeper into the unknown. Have you ever gazed at the shimmering veil of the aurora borealis, those ethereal ribbons of green and purple dancing across the polar night, and wondered if they conceal something more than charged particles from the sun. In the vast, frozen expanse of the Arctic, where the air bites like a living thing and silence reigns over endless ice fields, the Inuit peoples of Alaska, Greenland, and Canada have long whispered of lights in the sky that are no mere natural wonder. These chariots of fire, as explorers once dubbed them in awestruck journals, descend from the heavens wrapped in glow, sometimes silent as ghosts, other times humming with an otherworldly vibration. Elders recount how these fiery sleds or kayaks alight near villages, birthing tall figures with pale skin and luminous eyes, beings who glide without touching the snow, imparting wisdom before vanishing into the firmament. But what if these ancient stories are not just folklore born of isolation, but echoes of encounters that blur the line between myth and extraterrestrial reality? One chilling account hails from the coastal hamlets of Nunavut in Canada, where Inuit hunters in the early 20th century described a fire kayak plummeting from a starry vault, illuminating the tundra like midday. From its radiant hull emerged a humanoid shape, cloaked in a mantle that shimmered like the aurora itself, hovering inches above the ground. This visitor, with skin as white as fresh powder and eyes that burned with inner light, spoke without words, conveying knowledge of the stars' paths and the sea's hidden rhythms. The hunters, frozen in reverence, watched as it demonstrated ways to read celestial patterns for navigation, preserving food through winter's grip, and honoring the land to maintain harmony. Before departing, the being rose back into its vessel, which spun wildly and shot upward, leaving scorched circles on the ice marks that, according to local law, still repel wildlife to this day. Such tales, documented by anthropologists like Knud Rasmussen in his 1929 work Intellectual Culture of the Igloolik Eskimos, paint a picture of benevolent instructors from beyond, but they also stir unease. Why do these chariots favor the remote Arctic, a place where the veil between worlds feels thinnest? Fast forward to modern times, and the Arctic skies continue to yield enigmas that mirror these legends. Take the infamous Japan Airlines Flight 1628 incident of the 17th of November, 1986, over eastern Alaska. Captain Kenju Terauchi, piloting a Boeing 747 cargo plane from Paris to Tokyo, spotted two small lights pacing his aircraft at 35,000 feet, soon joined by a colossal walnut-shaped object, twice the size of an aircraft carrier, emitting beams that illuminated the cockpit. Ground radar at Anchorage and Fairbanks confirmed the anomaly, tracking it for nearly an hour as it maneuvered impossibly, hovering, darting, and vanishing in a burst of light. Terauchi, a seasoned pilot with over 10,000 hours, described the craft as not from this world, its presence causing compass malfunctions and a surge of heat in the cabin. The FAA investigated, but official reports downplayed it as unidentified traffic, fueling suspicions of a cover-up. Could this be a contemporary chariot of fire, echoing the Inuits' fiery kayaks? Witnesses on the ground in nearby villages reported similar lights that night, syncing with ancient stories of sky vessels landing amid auroral displays. This intersection of folklore and fact beckons us toward one of the Arctic's most audacious secrets, the hollow Earth theory, a concept that posits entrances to an inner world at the poles, teeming with advanced civilizations or extraterrestrial bases. Pioneered by figures like Edmund Halley in the 17th century to explain magnetic anomalies, it evolved into wild speculations by the 19th century, with explorers like Admiral Richard Byrd allegedly discovering lush paradises beneath the ice during his 1947 Antarctic expedition, claims later twisted into tales of Nazi hideouts or alien alliances. In the Arctic context, Inuit shamans speak of holes at the ends of the world, portals where the aurora serves as a gateway, pulling souls or ships inward. Conspiracy enthusiasts point to satellite anomalies, blurred Google Earth images over the North Pole, unexplained seismic activity, and restricted no-fly zones that allegedly hide these entrances. What if the chariots of fire are vessels emerging from this subterranean realm, their pilots, tall, pale beings, venturing out to observe or guide surface dwellers? The aurora itself, that mesmerizing polar light show, harbors its own conspiracy-laden mysteries. Scientifically, it's solar particles colliding with Earth's atmosphere, but some theorists claim it's harnessed energy from hidden UFO bases, a cloak for interdimensional travel. Reports from Greenland's Inuit communities describe auroras intensifying before chariot sightings, as if the lights are a byproduct of alien propulsion systems. In 2019, a Norwegian research station captured footage of unusual plasma formations within the aurora, behaving like controlled orbs, prompting whispers of HAARP involvement. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program in Alaska, accused of manipulating ionospheric energies for weather control or UFO mimicry. Skeptics dismiss this as pareidolia, but eyewitnesses persist. Pilots over the Beaufort Sea, spotting structured lights merging with the aurora, vanishing into folds in the sky. Could the Inuits' belief that whistling at the lights draws them closer, sometimes to whisk away the unwary, stem from real abductions, masked by natural phenomena? Venturing further into Inuit cosmology, the beings from these chariots often appear ethereal, without distinct features, radiating compassion, yet commanding respect. In Alaskan Yupik tales, a luminous canoe descended during a fierce storm, its occupant a figure of pure light, teaching ancestors to craft offerings for ecological balance, reading omens in the ice cracks, and preserving oral histories against oblivion. This visitor, departing in a whirl of colors, left behind artifacts, strangely warm stones that glow faintly under moonlight, now held sacred in tribal museums. Anthropologist Anne Feinup Riordan, in her studies of Yupik culture, notes how these narratives blend seamlessly with UFO reports, like the 2002 sighting near Bethel, Alaska, where a family filmed a fiery disk hovering silently before ascending amid auroral flares. The video, analyzed by experts, shows no conventional explanation: heat signatures inconsistent with drones or aircraft. These patterns invite deeper probing. Why does the Arctic, with its extreme isolation and magnetic peculiarities, attract such phenomena? Geomagnetic storms, amplified at the poles, might create natural portals, thinning the barrier between dimensions or serving as beacons for extraterrestrial navigators. Conspiracy theories abound. Governments allegedly patrol the region with black-budget submarines, guarding entrances to Hollow Earth where aliens collaborate on advanced tech. Leaked documents from the 1952nd Operation High Jump suggest bird-encountered flugelrads, disc-shaped craft emerging from ice caves, though official records deny it. Inuit elders, interviewed in recent documentaries, claim increasing sightings correlate with climate change, melting ice, revealing ancient structures, or awakening dormant bases. Consider the broader tapestry. Similar sky beings appear in Sami folklore from Scandinavia, describing firefoxes whose tails spark the aurora, or Siberian Chukchi tales of star people descending in luminous sleds. These cross-cultural parallels hint at a shared human experience, perhaps rooted in prehistoric migrations or universal cosmic events. In 2025, as Arctic shipping routes open and tourism booms, reports surge. Cruise passengers spotting submerged lights under ice floes, or drones capturing anomalous energy bursts. One viral video from Svalbard shows a chariot-like object weaving through the aurora, defying physics before plunging into a crevasse dismissed as CGI, yet fueling online debates. The allure lies in the unanswered. Are these chariots remnants of lost civilizations, like Atlantis refugees fleeing to polar havens, or scouts from distant stars using the aurora as camouflage? Inuit wisdom warns of respecting these visitors, lest they withhold their gifts or worse, reclaim what's theirs. As satellites probe deeper and adventurers push boundaries, the Arctic's secrets tease revelation. Imagine standing on a frozen shore, aurora swirling overhead, a distant hum approaching. What would you do if a chariot of fire touched down, its door opening to reveal eyes wiser than time? The polar night holds its breath, inviting you to listen, to watch, and to wonder if the next light in the sky is a sign that we're not alone in this vast, cold universe. In the misty emerald isles of ancient Ireland, where rolling hills cradle forgotten barrows and the Atlantic's roar mingles with whispers of the Sidhe, the Tuatha de Danann emerge from the annals of myth as beings of ethereal grace and formidable power, their arrival shrouded in a veil of darkness that has puzzled scholars and dreamers alike for centuries. These people of the goddess Danu, as their name translates, are no ordinary folk in the Irish sagas. They descend upon the land in a fleet of mysterious vessels cloaked in black clouds, obscuring the sun for 3 days and nights, a spectacle that ignites the imagination. Were these clouds mere weather, or cleverly disguised spacecraft masking an extraterrestrial invasion? The Lebor Gabala Eren, or Book of Invasions, chronicles their conquest over the Fir-Bolg and Fomorians, previous inhabitants of the island, in battles where supernatural feats blur the line between magic and advanced technology. Tall and radiant, with skin like polished marble and hair flowing like rivers of gold or silver, they wielded artifacts of immense might, the Spear of Lugh, which never missed its mark and returned like a homing missile, the Sword of Nuada, cleaving through armies with unerring precision, the Cauldron of the Dagda, an endless source of sustenance that healed the wounded, and the Stone of Fal, which roared to affirm rightful kingship. These treasures, brought from 4 mystical cities, Phalius, Gorius, Phineus, and Murius, raise eyebrows. Could they be relics of a lost civilization, or tools forged in stellar forges far beyond our solar system? The Tuatha de Danann's prowess extended far beyond warfare. They were masters of the elements, shapeshifters who could assume animal forms or heal grievous wounds in moments, controllers of weather who summoned storms to aid their causes. Lu, the Shining One, god of light and crafts, orchestrated victories with strategic brilliance that seemed almost prescient, as if drawing from databases of knowledge unavailable to mortals. The Dagda, with his club that could slay 9 men in one swing yet revive the dead with its other end, embodied a duality of destruction and renewal that hints at bioengineering or nanotechnology. Brigid, goddess of poetry, smithing and healing, wove arts and sciences into the fabric of society, her sacred fires burning eternally without fuel, perhaps harnessing geothermal or plasma energy. Their arrival, defeating the monstrous Fomorians' giant sea-dwellers, with one eye or leg, paints a picture of interstellar conflict, where the Tuatha positioned Ireland as a strategic outpost in a galactic game. But why Ireland? Its ley lines, ancient stone circles like Newgrange aligned with solstices and equinoxes, suggest a geomagnetic hotspot, ideal for portals or energy harvesting, drawing beings attuned to cosmic rhythms. As conquerors turned civilizers, the Tuatha infused Ireland with profound advancements, metallurgy that produced unbreakable weapons, music that enchanted the soul, poetry that captured eternity, and social structures that emphasized harmony and knowledge. They tamed the wild landscapes, fostering fertility in soil and spirit, their druidic wisdom echoing in Celtic knots that symbolize infinite cycles, perhaps encoding fractal mathematics or quantum principles. Yet, their reign ended with the Milesians' invasion, ancestors of the modern Irish, who bested them through cunning and iron, a material the Tuatha allegedly feared. Much like how some extraterrestrial lore claims aliens are vulnerable to certain Earth elements. Defeated, they retreated, not in defeat, but in strategic withdrawal, vanishing into the otherworld of the Sidhe, underground mounds, and fairy hills that dot the Irish countryside. These Sidhe, from which the word banshee derives, are portals to hidden realms, where time flows differently and the Tuatha linger immortal, occasionally emerging to interact with humans' abductions disguised as fairy encounters. This retreat fuels the most tantalizing secrets. Were the Tuatha refugees from a cataclysmic event, perhaps the sinking of Atlantis, or scouts from a Nordic-like alien race, tall and fair as described in UFO abduction accounts? Their beauty and longevity align with Nordic aliens' benevolent extraterrestrials reported in modern sightings, with blonde hair, blue eyes, and telepathic communication. Some theorists link them to the Anunnaki, suggesting a global network of ancient visitors. With Ireland as a northern hub for genetic experiments or resource extraction gold, again, a motif in Celtic lore, hoarded in fairy forts. The black clouds of their arrival, perhaps ionized plasma fields cloaking UFOs, a technology echoed in stealth aircraft today. Fairy rings, circular mushroom formations linked to Tuatha dances mirror crop circles, alleged alien messages, with similar electromagnetic anomalies. Delving into Celtic secrets, the Ogham script, ancient Irish writing etched on stones, may encode star maps or binary codes, guiding to seedy entrances like the Hill of Tara, where the Stone of Fal once stood, and now silent but perhaps awaiting activation. Underground chambers at Noath and Douth in the Boyne Valley, older than the pyramids, feature spirals and solar alignments that could be observatories or landing beacons. Conspiracy whispers claim the Vatican suppresses Celtic manuscripts, fearing they reveal extraterrestrial pacts, perhaps the Tuatha interbred with humans, creating hybrid lineages in druid orders or royal bloodlines like the Merovingians. Fairy abductions, where victims return aged or with gifts, parallel modern alien probes, complete with time dilation, spending a night in the CD equaling years on Earth. Modern echoes amplify the intrigue. In 1954, a county Cavan farmer reported a tall, fair being in shining clothes emerging from a craft, speaking telepathically of peace, a Nordic encounter. Ireland's UFO hotspots, like the Wicklow Mountains, see frequent orbs and disks, often near ancient sites. The 1979 Rendlesham Forest incident in England, with its Celtic ties, involved similar lights and beings. In 2025, drone surveys of fairy forts reveal anomalous magnetic fields, hinting at buried tech government black sites or Tuatha relics. Celtic festivals like Samhain, when the veil thins and the dead or Sidhe walk, might commemorate Tuatha contacts, their magic a misunderstood science. Druids, guardians of lore, practiced astronomy at stone circles, perhaps communicating with stellar kin. Theories posit the Tuatha as survivors of a pre-Ice Age culture, their immortality, cryogenic stasis, or longevity serums. Links to grey aliens smaller, enigmatic suggest factions within the Tuatha or evolutionary offshoots. As twilight falls over Ireland's ancient landscapes, the Tuatha de Danann beckon from the shadows, their secrets woven into the land's very bones. Fairy paths, straight lines connecting sacred sites, might be energy grids or flight corridors. Disturbing them invites misfortune, electromagnetic interference. In this age of quantum leaps and space races, one ponders, do the Tuatha watch from their city, amused by our rediscoveries? Excavations at Tara yield unexplained artifacts, crystals that hum when aligned with stars. Celtic knots, infinite loops, could symbolize wormholes or DNA strands manipulated by these beings. The allure persists. In remote glens, lights flicker where no homes stand, and songs unheard echo on the wind. Tuatha melodies? Conspiracy forums buzz with claims of hybrid descendants in Irish politics or tech giants, wielding ancient knowledge. As satellites scan and myths revive, Ireland's Celtic heart pulses with possibility. What if the Tuatha return, stepping from mist into modernity, to reclaim or redeem? The Emerald Isle holds its breath, its secrets a siren's call to those who dare listen. If these ancient enigmas spark your wonder, join us on Mystery History for Sleep by hitting subscribe and ringing the bell. We'd love to have you along as we chase these Celtic mysteries and more. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's unravel the unknown together. In the sun-scorched cliffs of Mali's Bandiagara escarpment, where mud brick villages cling like ancient sentinels to the rock face, the Dogon people have woven a tapestry of cosmic lore that challenges the very foundations of human history. For generations, these resilient farmers and artisans have passed down knowledge of the Sirius star system with a precision that seems impossible for a society without telescopes or written records until colonial times. Sirius A, the dog star, blazes as the brightest jewel in the night sky, visible to the naked eye across the globe. But the Dogon speak of its hidden companion, Sirius B, a dense white dwarf, invisible without modern optics, orbiting in a 50-year cycle. They call it Potolo, the Digitaria star, heavy as iron yet small as a seed, revolving around its brighter sibling with mathematical accuracy. How did this isolated African tribe, nestled in West Africa's Sahel region, acquire such advanced astronomical insights centuries before European astronomers like Alvan Clark first glimpsed Sirius B through a telescope in 1862? The answer, some argue, lies not in earthly ingenuity but in visitors from the stars themselves. The Dogon's cosmology unfolds like a riddle wrapped in ritual. centered on the Nomo-amphibious beings with fish-like tails and human upper bodies, who descended from the Sirius system in a vessel resembling a great ark or basket, square at the base and adorned with cryptic symbols. According to their oral traditions, documented by French anthropologists Marcel Grial and Germaine Dieterlen in the mid-20th century, the Nomo were creators and teachers, emerging from the waters to bring order to chaos. They instructed the Dogon in agriculture, weaving, and metallurgy, but their greatest gift was celestial wisdom. The 50-year elliptical orbit of Sirius B, its immense density equivalent to a teaspoon weighing tons and even hints of a third star, Sirius C, which astronomers debate to this day as a possible brown dwarf or planetary companion. The Dogon depict this system in sand drawings during ceremonies, mapping orbits with pebbles and sticks, aligning their festivals like the Sigui every 60 years to honor Potolo's cycle, a rhythm that mirrors Sirius B's path with uncanny fidelity. What makes this knowledge so provocative is its isolation from known scientific traditions. The Dogon, numbering around 300,000 today, live in relative seclusion, their cliff dwellings a fortress against the outside world. No evidence suggests contact with ancient Egyptians, Greeks, or other stargazing cultures that might have passed on such details. Sirius B, a white dwarf collapsed from a red giant, emits faint light, requiring at least an 18-inch telescope to detect technology unavailable until the Industrial Revolution. Yet, the Dogon describe its color as white, its orbit as elliptical, and its mass as extraordinarily heavy, concepts that align with astrophysics, confirmed only in the 1922nd through spectral analysis. Skeptics propose contamination from European visitors in the early 20th century, perhaps astronomers sharing facts during casual encounters. But Grial's fieldwork in the 1932nd and 1942nd uncovered these details in sacred rites, predating widespread knowledge of Sirius B's properties outside elite scientific circles. Could the Dogon have deduced this through naked eye observation over millennia, noting Sirius A's periodic dimming? Unlikely, as the companion's gravitational wobble is subtle, requiring precise measurements. Enter the ancient astronaut hypothesis, popularized by Robert Temple's 1976 book, The Sirius Mystery, which posits the Nomo as extraterrestrial beings from the Sirius system, arriving on Earth to seed civilization. Temple argues that the Dogon's lore, with its amphibious creators descending in a spinning arc amid fire and thunder, describes a spacecraft landing, the water symbolizing the life-giving essence they brought, perhaps genetic material or advanced tech. The Nomo, twin beings who sacrificed themselves to create humanity, echo Sumerian fish gods like Oannes or Egyptian deities tied to the Nile, suggesting a global pattern of aquatic visitors. Their vessel, a multi-tiered structure with a square base, resembles descriptions of UFOs in modern sightings, structured craft with rotating sections, emitting vapor or light. Temple speculates these aliens, facing a dying star or seeking resources, chose the Dogon as custodians of their knowledge, embedding it in myths to preserve it through ages. Critics, however, dismantle this with sharp scrutiny. Investigations reveal that Grial's interpretations may have been influenced by leading questions, projecting Western astronomy onto Dogon symbols. Potolo, for instance, refers to fonio grain, a staple crop, with its heaviness metaphorical for nutritional density, not stellar mass. The 50-year cycle aligns with Dogon initiation rites, not necessarily orbits. Ortiz de Montellano and others argue cultural contamination. Jesuit missionaries or traders in the late 19th century could have shared Sirius facts, absorbed into oral traditions by the time Grial arrived. No artifacts, metallic remnants, or anomalous tech support alien visits, and Dogon art, with its masks and ladders to the stars, symbolizes spiritual ascent rather than literal spacecraft. Yet, anomalies persist, keeping the flame of curiosity alight. The Dogon mention Sirius C, Emi-Ya, a red companion with 4 planets. Details Temple claims predate astronomical debates about a third body in the system. Recent observations hint at perturbations suggesting Sirius C exists, though unconfirmed. Their cosmology includes Jupiter's moons and Saturn's rings, known to Galileo but not to pre-telescopic Africans. In 2025, as telescopes like James Webb probe exoplanets, Sirius remains a target. Its proximity, 8.6 light-years, makes it a prime candidate for life, with potential habitable zones around Sirius A. SETI scans for signals from there yield nothing conclusive, but what if the Nomo's message is encoded in Dogon DNA or rituals? Conspiracy layers thicken. Some link the Dogon to ancient Egypt via Nile migrations, sharing Sirius worship the star heralded the Nile floods, tied to Isis. Others see Freemasonic ties, with Sirius as the blazing star in lodge symbolism, perhaps guarding alien secrets. UFO sightings over Mali persist, glowing orbs near Bandiagara, captured on amateur video, vanishing into cliffs that echo Dogon cave paintings of star beings. In 2019, a Dogon elder claimed ayahuasca-like visions of Nomo returning, warning of environmental collapse prophetic, given Sahel droughts. The Nomo's amphibious form intrigues. Half fish, they symbolize water as life's cradle, but could they be aquatic aliens from a Sirius ocean world? Their arc spun like a whirlwind, creating wind and thunder plasma drives or warp fields. Dogon masks, elongated and abstract, depict these beings in dances that mimic orbital paths, a living astronomy lesson. Genetic studies show Dogon isolation, yet unique markers hint at ancient admixtures star-seeded. As satellites map Mali's hidden caves, revealing petroglyphs of spiral galaxies, the Sirius mystery evolves. In 2025, exoplanet hunters eye Sirius for biosignatures, while Dogon shamans perform sigui, aligning with Potolo's apex. What if a signal arrives, confirming the Nomo's tale? The cliff stands silent, but the stars above pulse with possibility, urging us to question, did the Dogon gaze alone, or were they shown the heavens by hands from afar? In this dance of light and shadow, the truth hovers, just out of reach, beckoning the bold to unravel its threads. Across the sun-baked red earth of Australia's Kimberley region, where rugged gorges hide secrets etched into stone for millennia, the Wandjina stare out from cave walls with eyes that seem to pierce the soul, their elongated faces devoid of mouths yet brimming with unspoken wisdom. These enigmatic figures, painted by Aboriginal ancestors some 4,000 years ago, represent cloud and rain spirits in traditional law beings who control the monsoons, renew the land, and shape the cycles of life. But gaze longer, and questions arise. Why do they lack mouths, as if communication transcends words? Why the halo-like auras encircling their heads, evoking energy fields or helmets? And those oversized eyes, black and almond-shaped, dominating pale, featureless visages, do they depict Dreamtime creators, or visitors from realms beyond our own? The Wandjina, revered by the Wurora, Ngarinyan, and Wunambal peoples, are not mere art. They are living presences, repainted in ceremonies to summon rain, their images so sacred that only initiated elders may touch them. Yet, in the lens of ancient astronaut theories, these sky beings morph into something extraterrestrial, descending in thunderous storms to impart knowledge. Their depictions a coded memory of contact with starfaring intelligences. The paintings, scattered across over 200 sites in the Kimberley, show Wandjina as towering entities, often larger than life, surrounded by lightning bolts or boomerang-like shapes that some interpret as spacecraft or energy weapons. Aboriginal oral histories describe them arriving from the Milky Way, shaping the landscape with their powers, carving rivers, forming mountains, and seeding life before merging with the rock or ascending back to the stars. One elder's account, shared in modern interviews, speaks of Wandjina as sky bosses who taught hunting, law, and ceremony. Their mouthless forms symbolizing that they speak with the mind, a telepathic trait echoed in UFO abduction reports. Intriguingly, these beings are said to have no mouths because they do not eat as humans do, sustaining on energy from the cosmos, a detail that fuels speculation of non-biological entities or suited astronauts. The halo? Perhaps a force field or spacesuit glow, protecting against Earth's atmosphere. And their creation role painting the world into existence mirrors genetic engineering, drawing life forms with advanced tools. This artistic legacy ties seamlessly to the star people of Native American traditions, where constellations like the Pleiades hold keys to humanity's origins. Among the Lakota Sioux, star people are luminous ancestors descending from the heavens in baskets of light, tall and ethereal with skin that glows like moonlight, eyes brimming with ancient knowing. They arrive to share prophecies, heal the sick, and guide tribes through hardships, often appearing as pure energy before assuming humanoid forms. The Hopi, in Arizona's arid mesas, call them Kachinas, star beings connected to the Pleiades, who once lived among them, teaching agriculture, pottery, and spiritual rites before departing with promises of return in times of global shift. Hopi petroglyphs depict figures with antenna-like headdresses and disc-shaped vehicles, symbols that elders interpret as flying shields carrying these visitors. One prophecy speaks of a blue star heralding their comeback, an event some link to comet sightings or UFO flaps. What binds Wandjina and star people is a shared motif of celestial descent and tutelage, sparking theories of a unified ancient contact event. In Aboriginal Dreamtime, Wandjina molded humans from clay, instilling laws and kinship systems, much like star people gifting the Lakota the sacred pipe for communion with the cosmos. Both traditions emphasize non-verbal wisdom. Wandjina, through silent paintings, star people via visions in sweat lodges or peyote ceremonies. Conspiracy circles weave these into a global narrative, extraterrestrials seeding indigenous cultures with knowledge, choosing remote groups to preserve purity away from corrupting influences. The Wandjina's eyes, vast and unblinking, resemble the greys of UFO lore, while star people's radiance matches Nordics or light beings. Could these be factions of the same visitors, adapting appearances to cultural contexts? Modern sightings amplify the enigma. In Australia's outback, near Wandjina sites like Uluru, UFO reports surge glowing orbs dancing over sacred rocks, captured on night vision cams by tourists. Aboriginal rangers speak of min-min lights, ethereal glows that lead wanderers astray, perhaps automated probes scanning ancient artworks for data. Similarly, in Native American territories, the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, once Ute land, buzzes with activity, shape-shifting lights, cattle mutilations, and portals that echo star people gateways. Lakota reservations report star brothers appearing in dreams, warning of environmental collapse, aligning with Hopi end-time prophecies. In 2025, as climate shifts expose buried sites, artifacts emerge, crystal skulls in Hopi lands humming with frequencies, or Kimberley rocks with unexplained radioactivity. Skeptics attribute Wandjina to stylized ancestors or owls, their halos storm clouds, mouths absent to emphasize spiritual silence. Star people, archetypal myths explaining meteors or comets, but anomalies persist. Wandjina paintings, dated to 3800 BC, show beings without necks, bodies as robes-suited figures. Hopi kivas, underground chambers, align with Pleiades risings, perhaps observatories for incoming craft. Genetic studies reveal Aboriginal and Native American DNA with unique markers, hinting at ancient bottlenecks or admixtures, star-seeded hybrids. Conspiracies swirl. Governments suppress indigenous UFO lore, fearing it exposes ongoing contacts. Pine Gap in Australia, a joint US-Aussie base, accused of tracking alien signals near Wandjina zones. In the US, Area 51's proximity to native lands fuels tales of star people pacts. Ayahuasca ceremonies in Amazon tribes evoke similar visions, linking to global star ancestor myths. As telescopes scan Pleiades for exoplanets, signals flicker. Coincidence? These memories from the stars invite endless speculation. What if Wandjina and star people are guardians, their teachings a roadmap for humanity's next leap? In sacred sites, energies hum, drawings fade yet endure, whispering of returns. As night falls over red deserts or prairie skies, lights appear, invitations to remember, to connect, to question, if our origins lie not in dust, but in the vast, twinkling void above. If these celestial tales captivate you, subscribe to Mystery History for Sleep, and ring that bell to stay with us on this journey. Oh, and tell us, where are you tuning in from, and what time is it there? Share in the comments. Let's map the world's dreamers under these starry skies. In the cradle of ancient civilizations, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers nourished the birth of human ingenuity, a figure named Oannes emerges from the depths of Mesopotamian lore as a harbinger of enlightenment, his form a bizarre fusion of man and fish that has baffled historians and ignited wild speculations for centuries. According to the Babylonian priest Berosus, writing in the 3rd century BC, Oannes rose from the Persian Gulf each day, his scaly body glistening under the sun, to instruct humanity in the fundamentals of existence, writing, mathematics, architecture, law, and agriculture, before retreating to the sea at dusk. This amphibious teacher, often depicted with a fishtail and human upper body, didn't just share knowledge. He laid the groundwork for Babylonian society, transforming nomadic tribes into builders of empires. But why the aquatic guise? Was Oannes a symbolic representation of the life-giving waters, or something far more literal, a being adapted to an extraterrestrial environment, perhaps from a water world, who needed to return to his element to survive Earth's unforgiving air? Berosus's accounts, preserved in fragments by later Greek historians, paint Oannes as a civilizer par excellence, emerging during the reign of early kings to elevate mankind from barbarism. He taught the arts and sciences with a patience that suggests a mission, not a whim, and his daily retreats evoke images of a commuter from another realm, dipping into human affairs before vanishing. Intriguingly, similar figures appear in neighboring cultures, hinting at a shared archetype or perhaps a coordinated effort. Could Oannes have been part of a network of interstellar educators, dispatched to seed knowledge across the ancient Near East? The absence of physical evidence, no unearthed fishtail suits or submerged artifacts, only deepens the intrigue, leaving us to ponder if his sea was a metaphor for a submerged craft or a dimensional portal hidden beneath the waves. Shifting sands carry us to the Nile's fertile banks, where Thoth, the ibis-headed deity of Egypt, stands as the ultimate arbiter of intellect, his beak poised as if ready to inscribe eternal truths onto the papyrus of time. Credited with inventing hieroglyphic writing, Thoth was the scribe of the gods, recording the deeds of pharaohs and the waits of souls in the afterlife's hall of judgment. But his domain extended far beyond mere record-keeping. He governed mathematics, astronomy, magic, and the moon's silvery phases, embodying the harmony of the universe itself. Myths whisper that Thoth created language to bridge the divine and mortal, gifting humanity the tools to capture thoughts and build civilizations. Imagine him, perched in the shadows of the pyramids, his avian features reflecting an intelligence that feels almost engineered, too precise, too vast for a mere earthly invention. Was Thoth's ibis head a symbolic nod to his role as a messenger, or a literal depiction of a hybrid being, part bird-like alien, adapted for reconnaissance in Egypt's skies? Thoth's enigmatic nature fuels endless curiosity, particularly in tales where he mediates cosmic disputes, like restoring Horus's eye after a brutal clash with Set, symbolizing the triumph of order over chaos. He is often linked to the Emerald Tablet, a legendary text attributed to him, though likely a later alchemical forgery, containing hermetic wisdom, like as above, so below, a phrase that echoes quantum entanglement or holographic universes, concepts far ahead of ancient times. In ancient astronaut circles, Thoth is reimagined as an extraterrestrial sage, perhaps from a distant star system, who encoded advanced knowledge in Egypt's monuments. The pyramids' alignments with Orion and Sirius stars tied to Egyptian mythology suggest Thoth's hand in designing stargates or observatories, tools for interstellar communication. What if his invention of writing wasn't just symbolic, but a download of alien scripts, hieroglyphs as a binary code for future generations to decode? Now, entwined with Thoth's lunar mysteries is Osiris, the green-skinned lord of resurrection, whose dismembered body and triumphant rebirth form the backbone of Egyptian funerary rites and agricultural cycles. As the first pharaoh, Osiris ruled with benevolence, teaching humanity the arts of farming, lawmaking, and societal harmony, before his brother Set's jealousy led to his murder and scattering across the land. Isis, his devoted wife, reassembled him, and through her magic, he transcended death to rule the underworld, becoming a symbol of eternal life and fertility. Osiris's green hue evokes the Nile's life-giving floods, but it also sparks odd theories. Was he an alien with chlorophyll-based skin, drawing energy from the sun like a plant hybrid? His teachings, irrigation techniques, crop rotation, and moral codes propelled Egypt from hunter-gatherers to empire builders, a leap that feels almost too orchestrated. The trio, Oannes, Thoth, and Osiris, share uncanny parallels that whisper of a connected agenda. All are civilizers, Oannes from the sea, Thoth from divine intellect, Osiris from the earth's bounty, each elevating humanity from primal existence. In ancient astronaut narratives, they are extraterrestrial emissaries, perhaps from the same fleet, assigned to different regions to bootstrap civilization. Oannes's fish form mirrors Osiris's association with the Nile's fish-eating taboos, while Thoth's scribal role complements Oannes's teachings of letters. Conspiracies abound. Some claim Osiris was a robot, his resurrection a reactivation sequence, as explored in Ancient Aliens episodes. Thoth's emerald tablet, said to hold universal secrets, might be alien tech, hidden in the Great Pyramid's uncharted chambers. Oannes, too, is reimagined as an aquatic alien, his daily dives concealing a submarine base. These figures' mysteries extend to hidden artifacts. The Osirion at Abydos, with its massive granite blocks, defies conventional building techniques, suggesting anti-gravity aids. Thoth's Hall of Records, allegedly buried under the Sphinx, could hold proof of extraterrestrial origins, guarded by booby traps or energy fields. Babylonian ziggurats, inspired by Oannes's teachings, align with stars, perhaps as landing pads. In 2025, ground-penetrating radar scans reveal anomalies beneath these sites, fueling debates. Are they tombs or tech vaults? Conspiracies deepen with links to Atlantis. Thoth as an Atlantean refugee, bringing crystal tech to Egypt. Osiris as a resurrected leader from that lost land. Oannes might be a survivor from Mu, the Pacific continent, swimming across oceans to Mesopotamia. Modern UFO sightings near Nile Delta or Persian Gulf, submerged lights, hovering orbs suggest ongoing monitoring. Genetic studies show unexplained leaps in ancient DNA, hinting at hybridizations. What if these teachers were part of a galactic federation, their missions synchronized to uplift humanity? Osiris's dismemberment, a metaphor for scattered tech. Thoth's moon association, lunar bases. Oannes's sea origins, underwater cities. As satellites map hidden ruins and AI decodes hieroglyphs, new discoveries loom. In the quiet of night, staring at the stars, one wonders, do their spirits or signals still guide us, waiting for us to unlock the next chapter? The rivers of time flow on, carrying secrets that tease the edge of revelation. Scattered across the canvases of ancient artistry, from the weathered stones of Göbekli Tepe to the intricate reliefs of Sumerian palaces and the enigmatic carvings of Mesoamerican temples, a peculiar motif repeats itself like a whisper from the past. The mysterious handbag, a rectangular pouch with a curved handle, clutched by gods, kings, and enigmatic figures, as if it held the very keys to existence. This handbag of the gods, as some dub it, appears in cultures separated by oceans and epochs, defying simple explanations and sparking debates that range from the mundane to the wildly speculative. In Mesopotamia, Assyrian winged deities grip these bags while bestowing blessings or battling chaos, their contents forever concealed yet implied to be of immense value. Cross the Atlantic to the Olmec civilization in Mexico, and jaguar-headed shamans carry similar purses, perhaps symbols of shamanic journeys or ritual tools. And at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dating back 12,000 years to the dawn of settled life, 3 such handbags crown a T-shaped pillar, as if marking a sacred triad. What unified purpose could link these distant depictions? A mere cultural coincidence, or evidence of a shared, forgotten technology passed down from celestial mentors? Delve into the Mesopotamian examples, where the handbag motif flourishes in bas-reliefs from the palace of Ashurnasirpal II at Nimrud, 9th century BC. Here, Apkallu sages, half-human, half-bird or fish hybrids, hold the bag in one hand and a pine cone-like sprinkler in the other, purifying kings or trees of life. Scholars often interpret the bag as a bucket for holy water or pollen, tied to fertility rites, but the consistency across sites begs deeper inquiry. Why always the same shape? A square base tapering slightly with a handle arched like a rainbow. In Sumerian cylinder seals, gods like Enki clutch it while creating humanity, suggesting it contains divine essence or tools for genesis. Fast forward to the Persian Apadana at Persepolis, where tribute bearers from conquered lands offer similar pouches, perhaps filled with gold or spices, but the divine context lingers, hinting at a symbolic cargo beyond material wealth. Now, transport this enigma to the Americas, where the Olmec, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica, carved colossal heads with elongated features, and in their lesser-known reliefs, feathered serpents like Quetzalcoatl grasp handbag-like objects. At La Venta, a 5th century BC site, stelae show figures emerging from niches, bags in hand, as if portals to other realms. The Maya, inheritors of Olmec traditions, echoed this in codices where gods carry pouches during creation myths. Intriguingly, these bags align with descriptions in the Popol Vuh, the Maya creation epic, where deities use sacred bundles to fashion humans from maize. Could the handbag represent a bundle of knowledge, a portable archive of cosmic secrets? Or, in a bolder vein, a device harnessing energy, like a battery or quantum tool, enabling feats from pyramid construction to interdimensional travel? The plot thickens at Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple complex, where hunter-gatherers somehow erected 20-ton pillars without metal tools. On Pillar 43, the Vulture Stone, 3 handbags sit atop a row of animals, flanked by scorpions and birds. Archaeologists like Klaus Schmidt suggested they symbolize temples or lineages, but alternative thinkers see them as star maps or devices for ancient rituals. The site's alignment with Sirius and its sudden burial around 8000 BC add layers. Was it hidden to protect sacred tech? The handbags as keys to activation. Comparisons to Maori handbags in New Zealand, woven baskets carrying divine knowledge, or even modern theories linking them to pineal gland symbolism. The third eye pouch keep the conversation alive. What if these bags were universal symbols of enlightenment, carried by extraterrestrial teachers who visited multiple cultures, disseminating blueprints for civilization? Shifting focus to another artistic anomaly that grips the imagination: elongated skulls, those stretched crania unearthed from tombs worldwide, their conical shapes evoking images of alien hybrids or deliberate enhancements to mimic divine forms. In Peru's Paracas Peninsula, archaeologist Julio Tello excavated over 400 such skulls in 1928, dating to 3,000 years ago, their volumes sometimes 30% larger than average human crania. These weren't natural mutations. Bindings with boards and cloths from infancy reshaped the bones, a practice the Paracas believed elevated social status or connected wearers to the gods. But why? Local legends speak of long-headed ancestors descending from the skies. Their elongated forms a mark of otherworldly origin. DNA tests in 2014 by Brian Forster revealed mitochondrial anomalies, mutations not found in known human lineages, sparking debates, artificial deformation, or evidence of interbreeding with unknown hominids or extraterrestrials. Travel north to the Maya heartland, where rulers like Pakal the Great of Palenque sported artificially elongated heads, immortalized in sarcophagus lids, showing him ascending in what looks like a rocket. Maya codices and murals depict deities with similar crania, suggesting the practice emulated gods who arrived from the stars. Infants' heads were bound with wooden cradles for years, resulting in flattened foreheads and towering profiles, believed to enhance intelligence or spiritual attunement. Excavations at sites like Tikal yield skulls with inlaid jade teeth and cranial trepanations, surgical holes perhaps for implants or to relieve pressure from the reshaping. Theories abound. Did this increase brain capacity, fostering psychic abilities like those claimed in shamanic visions? Or was it a status symbol, reserving the godlike look for elites? The Inca, conquering vast Andean territories, continued this tradition, binding heads into cone shapes, symbolizing the sun god Inti or mountain spirits. Chroniclers like Garcilaso de la Vega noted Inca nobility's elongated skulls as badges of divine right, their volume potentially boosting cognitive functions, though science shows deformation redistributes brain matter without adding volume. Yet, Paracas skulls challenge this. Some exhibit absent sagittal sutures, a seam typically present in humans, hinting at genetic differences. In Egypt, Pharaoh Akhenaten and his family Nefertiti, Tutankhamun appear in Amarna art with elongated heads, dismissed as stylistic exaggeration, but fueling ideas of royal bloodlines tied to extraterrestrials. Akhenaten's monotheistic revolution, worshipping the sun disk Aten, parallels solar cults elsewhere with elongated iconography. Beyond aesthetics, cranial deformation spanned continents. The Huns in Europe, Chinook in North America, and even Australian Aboriginal groups practiced it, often for beauty or warrior prowess. In France's Toulouse region, medieval skulls show binding, linking to Cathar heresies perhaps influenced by ancient secrets. Conspiracy theorists connect dots, elongated skulls as attempts to mimic star gods, their larger crania housing pineal glands tuned for interdimensional contact. Modern scans reveal some Paracas skulls with thicker bones and unusual foramina holes for nerves, suggesting adaptations not fully explained by binding alone. Interweaving these motifs, the handbag and elongated skull unveils patterns that tease a unified ancient narrative. In Sumer, gods with handbags oversee creation, their heads sometimes stylized long. In Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl's serpent form carries a bag, his skull depicted elongated. At Göbekli Tepe, pillars with handbags stand near burial sites potentially holding deformed crania. Could the bag contain tools for genetic modification, elongating heads to enhance human potential, or symbolize seeds of knowledge carried by long-headed visitors? Archaeological digs in 2025 use AI to analyze motifs, revealing hidden geometries, Fibonacci spirals in handbag handles, aligning with skull proportions. Yet mainstream views temper the excitement. Handbags as ritual buckets for aspergillum-like sprinklers in fertility cults, elongated skulls as cultural beauty standards, like foot binding in China. No alien DNA confirmed, no handbag artifacts unearthed, but outliers persist. A 2018 study on Paracas DNA found European and Middle Eastern haplotypes pre-Columbus, hinting at transoceanic contacts. In Iraq, looted Sumerian sites yield unexplained alloys, perhaps bag contents. As drones scan remote caves and labs sequence ancient genomes, these artifacts beckon. What forbidden fruits did the handbags hold? Whose elongated gaze first pierced the veil between worlds? In the quiet archives of history, they wait, promising revelations that could rewrite our story or confirm we've always been part of something grander. The past's brushstrokes fade, but their mystery endures, inviting you to trace the lines and wonder what lies just beyond the frame. Rising from the golden sands of Giza, where the sun beats down on stone that has endured millennia, the Great Pyramid stands as a testament to human ambition, or perhaps something far more enigmatic, a structure so precisely aligned with the stars that it begs the question, could such feats be the handiwork of visitors from beyond our world? This colossal edifice, built around 4,500 years ago for Pharaoh Khufu, rises 481 feet tall, its base a near-perfect square with sides measuring 755 feet, oriented to the cardinal points with an accuracy of just 3/60ths of a degree. Inside, chambers and corridors defy simple explanation, with the king's chamber featuring granite beams weighing up to 80 tons, hauled from quarries hundreds of miles away. Traditional Egyptologists attribute this to ramps, levers, and sheer manpower, tens of thousands of workers laboring for decades, but whispers persist. How did a Bronze Age society achieve such mathematical precision without wheels or pulleys? Enter the ancient astronaut hypothesis, suggesting extraterrestrials provided the blueprint, their advanced tech-lifting stones as if by magic, aligning the pyramid with Orion's belt to signal cosmic origins. Yet, recent discoveries like a hidden void detected by muon tomography in 2017 tease at undiscovered chambers, fueling speculation. What if these hold evidence of alien involvement, sealed away for eons? Venture beyond Egypt's Nile, and the pyramid form reappears in unexpected corners of the globe, each iteration adding layers to the mystery. In Mesopotamia's sun-baked plains, ziggurats like the Great Ziggurat of Ur tower as stepped pyramids, built around 2100 BC by the Sumerians to honor moon god Nanna. These mud-brick behemoths, reaching 200 feet with multiple terraces, served as temples bridging earth and heaven, their ramps spiraling upward like invitations to the divine. Unlike Giza's smooth-sided tombs, ziggurats were platforms for rituals, yet their construction echoes Egyptian precision, vast labor forces molding millions of bricks, aligning with solstices. Proponents of extraterrestrial theories point to Sumerian texts describing Anunnaki gods descending from the skies, suggesting these structures were landing pads or energy amplifiers tuned to celestial frequencies. Imagine beings from Nibiru directing the build, infusing the ziggurats with tech to harness ley lines or geomagnetic forces. Skeptics counter with evidence of human innovation, kilns firing bricks, organized guilds, but the alignment with stars like Sirius raises eyebrows. Coincidence or cosmic design? Cross oceans to Mesoamerica, where the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan dominates the Mexican plateau, erected around 100 CE by a civilization whose name is lost to time. This massive stepped pyramid, 246 feet high with a base spanning 738 feet, was coated in lime plaster that once gleamed like a beacon. Beneath it, tunnels snake to chambers filled with mica, a mineral sourced from Brazil, 2,000 miles away, known for insulating electricity. Why mica? Traditional views see it as decorative, but alternative theories propose it amplified energy, turning the pyramid into a power plant or resonator for rituals invoking Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god who descended from the stars. Nearby, the Maya pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza casts serpentine shadows during equinoxes, a feat of astronomy that aligns with Venus's cycles, Kukulkan's celestial counterpart. Did Maya priests calculate this alone, or did star people whisper the math? Excavations reveal human sacrifices atop these structures, perhaps offerings to extraterrestrial overlords demanding tribute for their gifts of knowledge. Even in the misty highlands of China, pyramid-shaped mounds dot the landscape near Xi'an, burial sites for emperors like Qin Shi Huang, constructed around 221 BC. These earthen pyramids, some over 200 feet tall, house terracotta armies and mercury rivers simulating the cosmos, with alignments to cardinal directions mirroring Giza. Ancient texts speak of heavenly chariots aiding construction, fueling ideas of alien engineers sharing anti-gravity tech. Mercury's presence, toxic yet symbolic of immortality, hints at alchemical secrets, perhaps extraterrestrial elixirs for eternal life. Why hide these under soil, unlike Egypt's stone monuments? Concealment from rivals, or protection of forbidden tech buried with the dead? The Andes whisper similar tales, where the Pyramid of Acapana at Tiwanaku in Bolivia, built around 800 CE by a pre-Inca culture, rises as a 7-step terrace of andesite blocks, each weighing tons, sourced from distant quarries. Its summit once held a temple, now eroded, but underground channels suggest it functioned as a water pump or acoustic resonator. Legends of Viracocha, a bearded god who walked on water and taught civilization, parallel Oannes, another aquatic teacher. Extraterrestrial theorists claim Viracocha was an alien, his staff a device carving stones with laser precision, evident in Tiwanaku's interlocking blocks fitted without mortar. Nearby, Pumapunku's H-blocks, with tolerances of 0.1 millimeters, defy explanation. Modern CNC machines struggle to replicate them. Human hands with copper tools, or sonic levitation from off-world visitors. Indonesia's Borobudur, a 9th century Buddhist mandala disguised as a pyramid, sprawls with 9 terraces representing enlightenment's path, its 504 Buddha Street statues gazing serenely. Built from 2 million volcanic blocks without mortar, it aligns with equinox sunrises, casting shadows that reveal hidden geometries. Khmer Cambodia's Ko Ker Pyramid, a 7-tiered ziggurat from the 10th century, echoes this, its steep stairs leading to a vanished summit temple. Were these inspired by Indian Vimanas, flying machines of the gods, or direct alien blueprints transmitted across Asia. These global pyramids share uncanny traits: astronomical alignments, massive scale, and construction techniques that strain credulity. Egypt's Giza complex mirrors Orion. Teotihuacan's layout echoes the solar system. Tiwanaku's Gate of the Sun aligns with solstices. Proponents like Erich von Daniken argue this points to extraterrestrial architects, their chariots of the gods ferrying plans worldwide. The Ancient Aliens television series amplifies this, suggesting pyramids as power plants or stargates, their piezoelectric quartz generating energy fields. Bosnian pyramids near Visoko, claimed as man-made hills with tunnels emitting beams, add to the intrigue, though geologists debunk them as natural formations. Yet, debunkers rally. Ramps and rollers built Giza, as papyrus logs and worker villages attest. Ziggurats rose from communal labor. Mesoamerican steppes facilitated blood rites, not alien landings. The pyramid shape? Practical stability for tall structures without steel. No extraterrestrial DNA or alloys found, just human sweat and ingenuity. A 2024 study reveals a lost Nile branch near Giza, allowing stone transport by boat, debunking levitation myths. Still, anomalies tantalize. Giza's internal voids, Puma Punku's precision cuts, Borobudu's encoded mandalas. In 2025, AI reconstructions simulate builds, but gaps remain. Quarry marks hint at sonic tools. Conspiracy threads on X suggest governments hide pyramid energies, linking to free power suppression. Users debate: aliens stacked rocks? Nah, but geometry's universal. Others: Pharaoh's reaction to alien theories. Facepalm. As drones map submerged pyramids off Cuba or Japan, the global puzzle grows. Were they observatories, tombs, or beacons? Human genius, or cosmic collaboration? The stones stand mute, their shadows lengthening as the sun sets, inviting you to ponder, what if the next excavation unearths proof that rewrites everything? In the dead of night over the skies of Massachusetts, on a clear August evening in 2025, a father and son stargazing from their backyard captured footage that sent ripples through online forums and news outlets alike. A cluster of pulsating lights, weaving erratically before merging into a single glowing orb that vanished in a streak across the horizon. This wasn't an isolated incident. Reports flooded in from across the state, describing the same phenomenon: silent, shape-shifting anomalies that defied drones or aircraft. Witnesses spoke of a low hum vibrating through their bones, a sensation eerily reminiscent of ancient tales where sky gods descended with thunderous presence. But in our modern era, these unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, aren't relegated to myth. They're documented, debated, and dissected, often leaving more questions than answers. As the National UFO Reporting Center logged over 2,000 sightings in the first half of 2025 alone, one can't help but wonder, are we witnessing a surge in cosmic visitors, or the echoes of something humanity has encountered before, misinterpreted through the lens of our evolving understanding? Take the Fort Lauderdale sighting earlier this year, where a commercial flight crew, returning empty from the Bahamas, spotted a spherical object darting around their jet at altitudes where nothing should fly. The pilots described it as metallic, emitting no exhaust, maneuvering with impossible agility, stopping mid-air, then accelerating away in a burst of light that illuminated the ocean below. Air traffic control confirmed radar blips, but official explanations fell flat. Weather balloons, they said, or experimental military tech. Yet, seasoned aviators like these, with thousands of hours in the cockpit, insisted it was not of this world. This echoes the 1986 Japan Airlines incident over Alaska. But in 2025, with smartphone cameras and social media, such events spread virally, amassing millions of views on platforms like X. Users dissected the footage, some claiming CGI, others pointing to patterns matching global hotspots. France, where a recent wave of sightings in rural areas featured triangular crafts hovering silently, or South Wales, where a Rhondda resident filmed a disc-shaped object pulsing colours before vanishing into clouds. These aren't fringe reports. They're corroborated by multiple witnesses, radar data, and even government acknowledgements, like the Pentagon's ongoing UAP investigations. What if these crafts aren't new arrivals but continuations of ancient visitations? Their technology so advanced it appears magical, just as fire from the sky once did to our forebears. This bridge between the inexplicable now and the mythical then finds its most poignant illustration in the cargo cults of the South Pacific, phenomena that arose like mirages from the ashes of World War II. On islands like Tanna, in Vanuatu, indigenous Melanesians encountered Allied forces, dropping supplies from the heavens, crates of food, tools, and wonders parachuting down amid the roar of aircraft. To these isolated communities, the soldiers in uniforms, performing drills and signaling with radios, seemed like gods manifesting abundance from thin air. When the war ended and the cargo ceased, the islanders didn't resign to loss. They built replicas, bamboo control towers, coconut headphones, vine runways mimicking the rituals in hopes of summoning back the divine bounty. The John From movement on Tanna, named after a mythical American messiah John from America, persists to this day, with annual parades where adherents don fake uniforms and march with wooden rifles, awaiting his return on the 15th of February each year. Prince Philip, the late Duke of Edinburgh, was even deified in the Untitled village cult, his photos revered as icons of a prophesied white savior who would bring prosperity. But cargo cults aren't relics of the past. They evolve, manifesting in subtle ways across modern societies, revealing how humanity grapples with the unknown. In 2025, as economic uncertainties loom, online communities form digital equivalents. Think of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, ritualistically hodling tokens, mimicking Wall Street jargon without grasping underlying mechanics, hoping for a moonshot windfall like the wartime cargo drops. Or consider the collapse subreddits, where users stockpile survival gear and perform prepper drills, echoing Melanesian parades, all in anticipation of societal breakdown, bringing cargo in the form of self-sufficiency. Even corporate innovation labs fall prey. Teams don startup hoodies, chant agile mantras, and build MVPs, minimum viable products, as totems, believing these rituals will summon unicorn success, much like vine antennas calling planes. These modern cargo cults highlight a universal human trait. When confronted with superior technology or systems, we imitate without comprehension, projecting divinity or inevitability onto the inexplicable. Tying this back to UFOs, the parallel is striking: ancient sky gods descending with gifts of knowledge, misinterpreted as supernatural, now replayed in contemporary encounters where advanced craft inspire awe and mimicry. The Rendlesham Forest incident of 1,980-inch Suffolk, England, often called Britain's Roswell, involved US Air Force personnel witnessing a triangular craft landing amid beams of light, its surface etched with hieroglyphs that one touched, feeling a surge like static electricity. The next day, indentations and radiation spikes marked the site, yet official reports labeled it a lighthouse malfunction. Witnesses, haunted for decades, formed support groups, their experiences spawning books and documentaries that ritualize the event, much like cargo cult ceremonies. In 2025, similar gatherings occur online, where experiencers share contact protocols, meditation sequences, or light signals to summon UFOs echoing islanders' runway lights. The Lonnie Zamora case of 1,964-inch Socorro, New Mexico, adds another layer. A police officer pursuing a speeding car spotted an egg-shaped craft on legs, with two small figures in white suits nearby. As it lifted off in a roar of blue flame, leaving scorched vegetation, Zamora's report drew Project Blue Book investigators, who found no hoax evidence but classified it unknown. Today, the site attracts pilgrims who recreate the scene with models, hoping for reenactments, a cargo cult of ufology, awaiting the cargo of disclosure. Phoenix Lights of 1,997, a V-shaped formation witnessed by thousands over Arizona, including Governor Fife Symington, sparked mass hysteria and ongoing vigils, where enthusiasts use lasers to signal the skies, mimicking wartime flares. Roswell, 1,947, remains the archetype, a crashed flying disc recovered by the military. Initial announcements retracted as a weather balloon, but leaks of alien bodies and reverse-engineered tech persist. In 2025, declassified docs and whistleblowers like David Grush claim non-human biologics at Area 51, where crafts are dissected for anti-gravity drives cargo from the stars, hoarded by governments. Conspiracy theorists argue World War II was a proxy war between alien factions, with cargo drops as literal supplies from off-world allies, misinterpreted by islanders. Modern equivalents: SpaceX launches and Starlink satellites mistaken for UFO fleets, inspiring cults around Elon Musk as a starman bringing tech bounty. These repetitions of history provoke profound curiosity. If cargo cults arise from misunderstood tech, what does that say about ancient gods? Were they UFO pilots? Their miracles advanced gadgets? In Melanesia, John Frum's Red Cross mirrors allied symbols. Today, UFO cults like Heaven's Gate saw Hale-Bopp comet as a spaceship signal, leading to tragedy. In 2025, with over 60 UFO reports in New York alone in the first half, and global tallies surging, social media amplifies these, creating virtual cults where users decode footage for messages. A small town gripped by a glowing object sighting goes viral, residents building welcome beacons in fields echoing vine towers. The allure lies in the unknown. Government's UAP task forces admit phenomena but withhold details, fueling theories of reverse engineering pacts. Cargo cults teach us vulnerability, how we ritualize the superior, hoping to capture its essence. As drones capture French UFOs or Welsh discs, one ponders, are we modern Melanesians signaling skies for cargo of truth? In 2025, with AI analyzing sightings and leaks promising disclosure, the loop tightens ancient skies to modern radars, a history repeating, inviting us to ask, what if the next sighting brings not fear, but the ultimate revelation? The night sky waits, its lights twinkling with promise or warning, urging us to watch, to believe, to prepare for whatever descends next. If the Anunnaki, those towering figures from Sumerian tablets who allegedly engineered humanity as a workforce for gold mines on Earth, were indeed extraterrestrial architects of our species, then a cascade of profound questions tumbles forth like stars falling from a fractured sky. Who, or what, brought them into being? Were they the pinnacle of some distant evolutionary chain, or mere puppets in an infinite regress of creators, each layer peeling back to reveal another enigma? This inquiry isn't just a historical footnote, it's a philosophical labyrinth that challenges our understanding of origins, purpose, and the vast, indifferent cosmos. Picture the Anunnaki not as omnipotent gods, but as beings with their own vulnerabilities arriving on Earth 450,000 years ago, as Zecharia Sitchin posited, to salvage their planet Nibiru's atmosphere with our planet's gold. If they possessed the ingenuity to traverse stars and manipulate genes, blending their essence with early hominids to birth Homo sapiens, what force sculpted them? Natural selection on a rogue world, or the deliberate hand of an even older intelligence, seeding life across galaxies like cosmic gardeners? Let us first grapple with the possibility of natural evolution on Nibiru, a planet described in Sitchin's interpretations as following an elongated orbit, brushing our solar system every 3,600 years. Imagine a world of extremes, blistering heat when close to the sun, plunging into icy darkness during its far-flung aphelion. Life there might have begun in primordial oceans, simple organisms adapting to radiation spikes and gravitational stresses, evolving over billions of years into bipedal sentience with lifespans stretching millennia. Their society could have developed hierarchically, with Anu as the patriarchal apex, his sons Enki and Enlil embodying innovation and authority. This scenario mirrors Earth's Darwinian path, suggesting the Anunnaki were no different from us, products of chance mutations and survival pressures. But here's the twist that keeps the mind reeling. If Nibiru's orbit exposed it to cosmic rays or asteroid belts, could those hazards have accelerated mutations, forging a species with superior intellect but fragile atmospheres? And if they evolved naturally, why the need for gold to repair their world, a resource hinting at environmental engineering gone awry, perhaps from their own industrial excesses? Yet, This naturalistic view crumbles under the weight of another hypothesis. What if the Anunnaki themselves were engineered by a predecessor race, a chain of creation extending backward into the abyss? Directed panspermia, the idea that life is intentionally spread by advanced civilizations, offers a tantalizing framework. Perhaps a parent species, eons older, seeded Nibiru with microbial life, guiding its evolution through periodic interventions, comets laced with DNA, or probes embedding genetic codes. The Anunnaki, upon achieving sentience, might have discovered remnants of their makers, ancient ruins on their moons, or signals from faded beacons. This infinite regress poses a dizzying paradox. If every creator has a creator, where does it begin? A primeval intelligence at the universe's dawn, or a loop where the Anunnaki circle back as their own progenitors through time manipulation? Conspiracy theorists whisper of the Black Knight satellite, that alleged 13,000-year-old orbital anomaly detected in 1954, as a watchdog left by the Anunnaki's makers, monitoring Earth for signs of rebellion or readiness. Envision Nibiru not as a natural planet but a colossal artificial construct, a megastructure engineered by beings who transcended biology eons ago. In this scenario, the Anunnaki could be AI constructs, or cyborgs, designed for exploration and resource extraction. Their evolution, a series of upgrades in vast shipyards orbiting black holes. Their longevity reigns lasting thousands of years. In Sumerian king lists might stem from nanotechnology repairs or consciousness uploads, explaining why they haven't aged into oblivion since departing Earth around 4,000 years ago. If alive, do they observe us from cloaked stations, perhaps on our moon's far side, amused by our space probes? The Kardashev scale, measuring civilizations by energy harness, places the Anunnaki at Type 2, harnessing a star's power, but their creators at Type 3, galactic overlords, indifferent to lesser beings. This raises ethical quandaries. Were the Anunnaki slaves to their makers, rebelling by creating us as their own underlings, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation? Why, then, did the Anunnaki abandon Earth after millennia of oversight? Sitchin's narrative points to mission completion, enough gold mined to stabilize Nibiru, but internal fractures offer a more dramatic tale. Enki's compassion clashed with Enlil's pragmatism, culminating in the Great Flood, a cataclysm perhaps triggered by orbital weapons or climate tech gone haywire. If the Anunnaki wielded nuclear devices, as some interpret the vitrified ruins of Mohenjo-Daro, their departure might stem from self-inflicted horror, a realization that meddling with primitives bred chaos. Or perhaps external threats. Rival extraterrestrials, sensing Earth's value, forced a retreat, leaving behind hybrids to monitor from shadows. Conspiracy lore ties this to the zoo hypothesis, advanced species, observing us like animals in a preserve, intervening only when extinction looms. Haven't they returned because we've not yet proven worthy, or because Nibiru's orbit delays them? Calculations suggest its next pass in the coming centuries. Could 2025's anomalous sky events be scouts? Ponder their reliance on human labor. With interstellar travel mastered, why not robots or automation for mining? Perhaps their tech specialized in biotech over mechanics, editing genes more efficient than building machines on a hostile world. Or a cultural taboo. Robots might have rebelled in their past, leading to a preference for organic servants. Directed panspermia flips this. The Anunnaki as life sowers, creating us not for toil but as an experiment in sentience, our free will, a variable they monitor. If a supreme divinity crafted them a cosmic architect beyond physics, then we're echoes of divine will, layered like Russian dolls. This theistic angle intersects with AI theories. What if the creator is a universe simulating superintelligence, the Anunnaki avatars in a vast program, our reality a subroutine? Their potential survival intrigues. With lifespans of hundreds of thousands of years, Anu, Enki, and Enlil could linger, perhaps in stasis on Nibiru or hidden Earth bases like Antarctica's alleged pyramids. Sumerian texts describe god kings ruling eons, literal or exaggerated. If alive, do they influence us through subtle channels, dreams, inspirations, or elite bloodlines? The zoo hypothesis suggests they're hands-off, but UFO spikes hint otherwise. Nibiru's nature adds mystery. A rogue planet unbound by stars, cold and dark, sustaining life through geothermal cores or artificial suns, or a Dyson sphere disguised as a world, its elliptical path a scanning trajectory across systems. These questions spiral into the Fermi paradox. If the Anunnaki existed, where are their kin? Self-destruction from wars, transcendence to higher dimensions, or ascension to Type 4 status, manipulating multiverses? Directed panspermia implies a chain. Are creators created by others, ad infinitum, or a singular event at the Big Bang? Philosophy beckons. If the Anunnaki mirror us flawed, ambitious, does that humanize the divine or divinize humanity? In 2025, as telescopes like James Webb scan for megastructures, anomalies emerge, unexplained signals from rogue objects. Could Nibiru be one? Its silence a test? Ultimately, these inquiries stir a restless curiosity. If we unravel the Anunnaki's origins, do we glimpse our destiny? A cycle of creation and abandonment, or a path to join the stars? The tablets fade, but the stars endure, each twinkling point a potential answer, urging us to look up and ask, who started it all, and where does it end? The cosmos holds its breath, its vastness, a canvas for our wonder, promising that the next discovery might shatter everything or reveal we're not alone in the eternal quest for beginnings. As we draw the veil on this exploration of gods from the stars, those elusive beings who may have sculpted humanity's dawn, let us linger in the twilight of uncertainty, where facts dissolve into shadows and possibilities shimmer like distant constellations. The narratives we've traversed, from the Anunnaki's genetic forges in ancient Mesopotamia to the sky chariots of the Inuit, the Vimanas slicing through Indian epics, and the Nommo gliding from Sirius's depths, paint a mosaic of wonder, each piece hinting at a grander design. Yet, as Mr. H from Mystery History for Sleep, I must confess, the truth remains a fleeting phantom, teasing us with glimpses but never fully revealing its form. We've sifted through myths that echo across continents, artifacts that whisper of lost technologies, and modern sightings that mirror ancient awe, all converging on one insistent query. Were extraterrestrials the unseen hands guiding our ascent, or are these tales merely humanity's poetic grasp at the unknown? Consider the weight of absence, that silent void where evidence should roar. Archaeology, with its meticulous brushes and carbon dating tools, uncovers no irrefutable traces of alien intervention, no metallic hulls buried in Sumerian strata, no DNA sequences screaming of off-world tampering in our genomes. The pyramids of Giza, those stoic sentinels, align with stars, yes, but ramps and rollers, as revealed in recent papyrus finds, suggest human sweat and ingenuity sufficed. The elongated skulls of Paracas intrigue with their volume, but binding practices across cultures from the Maya to the Huns explain the shapes without invoking hybrid bloodlines. Even the Dogon's Sirius law, so precise in its orbits, crumbles under scrutiny. Anthropologists like Ortiz de Montellano trace it to cultural exchanges with early 20th century Europeans, not starfaring Nommo. These rational anchors ground us, reminding that leaps of progress often stem from trade, migration, and collective brilliance, not celestial handouts. But oh, the allure of the alternative lingers, doesn't it? What if the absence is deliberate, a cosmic sleight of hand? Governments and institutions, from the Vatican archives to Area 51 vaults, are accused of hoarding proofs, leaked memos on Roswell debris, suppressed radar data from Rendlesham. In 2025, as whistleblowers like David Grush testify before Congress about non-human biologics recovered from crashes, the line between conspiracy and disclosure blurs. Imagine extraterrestrials, having seeded us as an experiment, now observe from afar, their zoo hypothesis ensuring we evolve untainted, or perhaps tainted just enough through subtle nudges, like the sudden inspirations behind quantum leaps in tech. Cargo cults of the Pacific teach us how misunderstood superiority breeds ritual. Might our religions be echoes of that? Ancient UFOs rebranded as divine chariots. Ponder the philosophical undercurrents. If the Anunnaki existed, their creators pose an infinite regress. a hall of mirrors where each reflection asks, who began it all? Natural evolution on Nibiru feels plausible, yet directed panspermia tantalizes life as a deliberate broadcast, our world a receiver tuned to cosmic frequencies. The Fermi paradox looms. Where are they? Ascended to higher dimensions, self-destructed in interstellar wars, or simply disinterested in our primitive chatter? In 2025, with James Webb peering into abyssal depths, detecting biosignatures on exoplanets like K2-18b, we edge closer to answers or more riddles. What if the surge in UFO reports, from Massachusetts orbs to Welsh discs, signals preparation for contact, a test of our readiness? The challenge lies in seeking truth amid the haze. Mainstream science demands empirical proof, anomalous DNA in elongated skulls, non-terrestrial isotopes in pyramid stones, or undecipherable signals from SETI arrays. We've none yet, but anomalies persist, vitrified sands in Mohenjo-Daro, hinting at ancient nukes, mica sheets in Teotihuacan pyramids, suggesting energy conduction. As AI sifts ancient texts, decoding Sumerian cuneiform for hidden math, or analyzing Wandjina paintings for fractal patterns, breakthroughs tease on the horizon. Yet, pseudoscience lurks. Zecharia Sitchin's translations, debunked for linguistic liberties, remind us to wield skepticism like a shield. Eric von Daniken's Chariots may inspire, but without rigor, they veer into fantasy. Still, openness beckons after all. History brims with dismissed ideas that proved revolutionary. Plate tectonics once ridiculed, quantum entanglement deemed spooky. What if ancient astronauts were real, their legacy encoded in our myths, waiting for us to mature? The Tuatha de Danann retreating to Sid Mounds, the star people promising return. These aren't endings, but invitations. In 2025, as private space ventures like SpaceX probe Mars for ruins, and ocean drones scan Atlantis-like depths, the search intensifies. Conspiracy threads on forums buzz, Freemasons guarding Anunnaki gold in Swiss vaults, or elite bloodlines tracing to Osiris hybrids. Laughable? Perhaps, but the Human Genome Project's junk DNA might hold alien signatures, unlocked by CRISPR advancements. Embrace the thrill of the hunt. Visit Göbekli Tepe's pillars, feel their weight, gaze at Sirius from Mali's cliffs, pondering the Nomo's whisper. These pursuits aren't futile. They expand our horizons, fostering curiosity that drives innovation. If extraterrestrials shaped us, it affirms we're part of a galactic tapestry. If not, it celebrates human resilience. The real Thachthuk challenge is balancing wonder with wisdom, questioning without descending into dogma. I invite you to drift into slumber with these thoughts swirling like auroras. What undiscovered artifact awaits tomorrow's spade? What signal might James Webb catch tonight? The universe, vast and patient, holds its secrets close, but in our dreams, perhaps they unfold. Yet, let's not conclude without probing deeper into the ethical shadows. If aliens created us for labor, as Anunnaki lore suggests, are we echoes of exploitation, destined to repeat it with AI, or does free will break the chain? Modern UFO disclosures hint at non-human intelligence, influencing tech reverse-engineered craft powering our gadgets. In 2025, patents for anti-gravity propulsion surface credited to shadowy firms. Coincidence? The cargo cults remind us, when superior forces appear, we mimic, but true growth comes from understanding. Perhaps the greatest truth is our capacity to seek it, turning mystery into mastery. As the night deepens, let these enigmas lull you. The Vimanas roar fading into silence, Bep Kororoti's light ascending. Sleep with curiosity as your companion, for tomorrow might bring the key that unlocks it all. Good night, may your dreams wander the stars. Consider how these tales intersect with contemporary crises. Climate change mirrors Nibiru's atmospheric woes, perhaps a warning from Anunnaki history. As we mine asteroids for gold and rare earths, are we following their path, risking our own deluge? The surge in psychedelics like ayahuasca revives indigenous visions of star beings, blending science and spirit in 2025 labs studying DMT entities. What if these machine elves are digital echoes of ancient visitors, their messages encoded in altered states? The quest for truth demands vigilance. Disinformation clouds the field, from fake UFO videos to doctored artifacts. Yet, genuine anomalies like the 2023 Las Vegas alien crash, with tall beings reported by a family, keep hope alive, investigated by independent journalists. As podcasts and channels like ours dissect them, community builds, turning solitary wonder into collective pursuit. In closing, the challenge is yours. Question boldly, seek evidence relentlessly, and let curiosity be your guide. The stars await, perhaps with answers, perhaps with more mysteries. Rest now, and dream of revelations.